What's happening, everybody? Welcome to Fringe Toast. We serving it up hot today. Rachel just got back from a trip with Spirit Realm Network, where she went to several different places. She went to Wisconsin, she went to Ohio, she went and seen the Old Baraboo, she went to the Twin Cities Opera House, and she's going to tell us a little bit about what happened while she was gone. And, we got some questions too. So here she is. Rachel. Rachel.
Yes. You just beat me to it. I was fixing to unmute me and you beat me to it.
Yeah. Sorry about that.
Well, it's okay.
So did you have fun? First thing, most important thing.
Well, let me see. Last night I was at the baggage carousel and I was in Atlanta at Delta, the 7 baggage carousels, and I could not find my baggage. I couldn't find my carousel. And one of the gentlemen was trying to help me. He goes, "Where'd you fly in from?" And I was like, I don't know.
So he just let you. You don't know where you just came.
I know that was direction. I know he was like, "So you don't know where you flew in from?" And I was like, "No." He goes, "Oh, have you been flying all week?" And I said, "Yes." And he goes, "Oh, okay." And he goes, "Well, sometimes just look at the monitor and maybe you'll see the city." And that's literally what I did. I started at the A's and then I got to Milwaukee. I was like, "Milwaukee." And he was like, "Okay, yeah, down there."
That's where I come from.
Yeah, it was I had a really good time, but yeah, it was yeah, it was fun.
Yeah. So you had told me before that you guys had on your way to from Ohio to Milwaukee, you flew to Houston and
Hmm.
transferred from there.
Yes.
So that sounds like a great basket of fun. Uh,
It was, and honestly, because whenever you're driving, it's like, let's stop here, let's do this. So even though we were on the plane for longer than what we should have been because we were flying around the world, basically,
mhm.
it kind of gave us a chance to sit down and rest. So and think. So it was actually, probably a good idea.
Right. So besides
Yeah.
yourself, who all was on this investigation?
So on this investigation, we had at both locations, it was Jim with the Spirit Realm Network. He's a producer and investigator. We had Amber Martin, who is a psychic, and then we had Moon Girl, Sarah Garcia, who is also another psychic. And we're all part of the Spirit Realm Network. And then we met up at Twin Cities with a couple other investigators.
Okay, cool. So which of the two locations was your favorite?
Old Baraboo Inn.
I would have to agree with that too,
Yeah.
because I've been watching all week, sitting along with you guys on your investigation. That's the funnest part, I think, about the Spirit Realm Network, or you know, being a fan of them is the fact that you get to experience the investigation almost in real time. So I do have some questions about Baraboo.
Okay.
And you, in the latter part of the night, I'm an old man at heart,
Mm-hmm.
and so I checked out, like, I don't know, probably about 11 o'clock, but you
Mm-hmm.
guys kept trucking. I didn't find out till the following morning. Essentially, as soon as I decided I was going to sit this out, you guys started getting all kinds of crazy activity down in the basement, um, near this post thing. And at
Yeah.
one time, you pretty much you didn't put your hands on Jim,
Mm-hmm.
but you about yanked him back
Yes.
to the concrete.
Yes.
What's
Yes.
up with that?
Okay, so down there, it does have a dirt floor, and you can tell that they had put, concrete down for like a walkway. So there was like a little bit of a lip, kind of where this post went to, and this was called the execution post. And this isn't, it's not open. It's open, but the public isn't allowed to touch it. The owner and his sister are very respectful of this building, of the situation, of the entities or beings that are there, and this is one thing that's not allowed to be touched. Back behind that, because it's from like 1864. The basement is very much made in 1864. It hasn't really been updated, and it's just like little nooks and crannies everywhere. So back behind that post and to the left, there was a dark entity. And I will just say this, I didn't read up on it before I went because I don't like to have, I like to have a clean slate, unbiased information. But Todd did say, do not go in the basement. And so I was like, okay, I won't. And so I knew that there was something based off that, what he was saying. Then also, before we went down the steps, the owner, BC, was like, okay, as you come down the steps, you say your name, you say hi, hello, and I'm coming down. And so at that point, I was like, okay. So I knew, and, but yeah, there was, a dark entity that was around the corner where the execution post was. And whenever you walked in that little section, not where he was, but that main part, it felt heavy, but it didn't feel negative. It didn't feel scary. So I knew whatever that was, it was in that back corner, and that as long as it wasn't poked or provoked, then that's where it would stay. So at this point, Jim had I guess some sort of a spirit box in necrophonics or something, and the demon word came out. And I'm pretty sure before that I had already said it's time to go up because Amber was having some pain, and we had already decided we were going to go up, and he was just kind of finishing up, and that word had came up and he had said it, and then he went to go step back, and I was like, do not step off the concrete. And then it was like a little kid, like kind of like putting that foot back, and I was like, do not step off that concrete. And that was not a rule at the Old Baraboo Inn. That was just something in my head. To me, it was a defined boundary because it was a physical boundary. And
Like there, you have no idea who might have been there
mm-hmm.
before that had set down some ground rules for that, whatever may have been down there. That's some pretty interesting stuff. What did I mean? I can't really speak to the other individuals, but
Mm-hmm.
is there anything you can tell me without giving away or intruding on
Mm-hmm.
private conversation that you've had with someone? Is there anything, like any comments or anything like that from anybody else that about that situation? You get to
So
understand what I'm saying?
yeah, oh yeah. So with Amber, she was very much in the capacity of a physical medium. And one of the rooms, a lady had, she was pregnant, and they were going to do, I guess, basically a forced abortion, and then that didn't work, and so then she was killed, and so she was having those physical sensations.
Yeah, that was painful to watch.
Yes, and I knew that she kind of wanted to stay in it a little bit, just it's I hate to say weird, but it is a weirdness there. There's almost like this respect, and I don't know. I'm not saying that these were my words. Almost like I felt like she was trying to stay in the moment as a form of respect, and because it's not like you wanted to go screaming out, but it was like, okay, this is enough, and so we needed to go back upstairs. So plus, she has some minor health conditions that, we should probably, keep in check. And I would imagine that like stress would probably, it's not anything that you want to do when you're a long ways away from home and it's midnight in Baraboo, Wisconsin, because
Right.
there's not much there. Mm-hmm.
So was there anything remarkable or some concrete stuff that you can look back on in this investigation and say this was, I mean, I would say that my experience as a viewer was better for Baraboo than it was for the Twin Cities. But was there anything at Twin Cities that stuck out to you as concrete or, some solid good evidence that was corroborated not only by the ITC equipment and the other equipment that was used there, along with your intuition and your mediumship, if that's the correct term. If it's
Mm-hmm.
not, you can go ahead and inform me and inform everyone else who's listening.
So at Twin Cities?
Yeah.
Okay. So at Twin Cities, both energy was, definitely palpable. And I knew that you was going to ask for physical evidence because I know you. And the only thing so people were seeing a lot of shadows, a lot of movement. The only thing that I really noticed, and there was a whole lot going on there, was the turning on of the light flashlights. So whenever we were backstage, I had the view of looking out into, I guess, the audience area, the seats, and there were flashlights up on the top balcony. And so, I was minding the chat. I was watching the feed to make sure it was, not freezing, that it was going. So every once in a while, I would see like a flash, and I would look up, and it would just catch my eye. But I never saw it while it was happening. And I just thought, okay, who really knows what it is? And then I was able to see the flashlight go on and off. And I think I even commented like the flashlight, the flashlight. And then it took them a bit, but they saw it. And so that was really kind of cool. It didn't do it on demand, but the whole idea was that it was left up there for them to interact with. And I know nobody was up there to manipulate it.
Yeah, I was going to ask that because the flashlight thing has
Mm-hmm.
been kind of debunked
Mm-hmm.
in a lot of ways. I was wondering if you had the opportunity to like physically put your hands on these things. Do you think they did the thing where they loosen it up and they loosen up the end and then it comes on and off due to the heating up of the light bulb actually is what
Mm-hmm.
turns the light on and off in most cases. I'm not saying that's what happened
Right.
here, but do you think did you get to look at it and see?
No, so this is the answer to that question. I'm not for sure if I looked at that flashlight, and I will say this, because we had flashlights passed around. Somebody would use this flashlight, then it would be laid down. So there wasn't someone was not in charge of this specific flashlight the whole night. I had a little headlamp that I had tied to my belt loop that was super bright. So I was trying to keep it muffled down. So, but at one point I had flashlights. We all had flashlights. There was just like, a container of them. And I know that a group had went up there and put them out. But to say specifically, did someone put this one that was loosened? I don't know for sure, but I would say probability no. And because you watch the video, everybody was so excited. I won't say that it was chaotic, but people were so excited. It's not like you could tell in the moment, nobody was like, hey, let's do this. Everybody was freaking out about everything else.
Well, I don't want to present that as if
Mm-hmm.
though I thought
Right.
that even if that was done, it was done in malice. I don't
Mm-hmm.
think so. I think that maybe because for real, if I didn't know what I already know, I would have
Mm-hmm.
went about that the same way because it's had experience where you turn this flashlight to the point to where it barely has connection,
Mm-hmm.
and then allow it to do whatever, and
Right.
you have the perception there that there is activity or paranormal activity there, and it's really just that wire inside the flashlight
Mm-hmm.
heating up and cooling off. As it heats up, it turns off, and vice versa. As it cools down, the connection is disconnected or reconnected, and then it turns back on again. As it heats up, the connection is lost, and so
Right.
on and so forth.
Right. But no, if that wasn't, but because this is a thing. I know and I see, but I want to prove it too. So, because a flashlight is simple and it's basic. So, next time I use a flashlight, I'm going to put some sort of tape around it, perhaps. That way we can say for sure, because I think so many people who are doing this are looking for hardcore evidence and they want that hardcore proof, you know?
Right.
So,
Well, it's important. It keeps it
yeah.
honest. Even
Hmm.
like a certain amount of skepticism about all this is healthy,
Hmm.
because if it's all real, then it's all also fake. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Yeah.
Because there's no skepticism. Nothing is kept honest.
Hmm.
And Well, I mean, was it an intentional thing? Like, were they like, hey, we're going to put flashlights up here and see if anybody plays with them, or were there just flashlights left up there by accident?
No, no. The whole idea was that let's put flashlights up there on the top balcony and ask them to manipulate it. So
Oh,
evidently, it's a common phenomena, or a common task, which is what I really, really liked about both of these locations. So at Twin Cities Opera House, they have a paranormal group that I guess is basically their management, and they will give the final say where the other paranormal groups can come and investigate. And so the gentleman's name was Sam Taylor, and I really can't remember the name of his group. But so he has this relationship, with the Twin Cities Opera House. I would say that he loves it. He knows the stories, he knows the people, he knows the beings or the entities that are in there, and he knows like basically what they like to do and kind of like what you're going to get a response out of it. So I found between both these locations, it was the people who were passionate about being there and who loved being there that made these investigations better, more better. That's a word.
right. Well, I almost feel like that. The people at Baraboo, with as much respect as they paid to whatever this was that was in the basement,
Hmm.
um, that's a lot. Like they're in full belief. If they took the time to tell you, all right, stop at the bottom of the stairs and let people know that you're coming in and who you
Hmm.
are and what's your business here. um, uh,
There were several things down in the basement, and so, but yeah, and whenever you left, you said thank you, and so I was thinking about that because even at the store, whenever we have the resident goes there, you don't want. I kind of have the mindset. It's not. I don't want this being to be used for our entertainment, if that makes sense.
I understand that.
Yeah, and we did not go there to cleanse anything or to move people on. And so I've really been thinking about that as far as whenever you go to locations, and basically these entities or these beings, they're not really used for entertainment, but they are, because that's what people are used doing. And so I've really been doing some reflection about it. And then so whenever I think of like the Old Baraboo Inn, there is so much energy there on the land, within the building. There's always going to be something there. Even if that building is torn down and apartments are built, there's that energy is still going to be there. And then I think at that point, it won't be able to be moved on. So I've come to the conclusion the best way to, like, the way I was thinking about this is, I think the best case scenario for like the Old Baraboo Inn is to have some sort of a relationship or agreement with the entities or beings, that they will be respected, that people, that it because if they're not there, something else is going to be there. And I think at this point they're able to control it, because I could definitely see it getting out of hand. And so like if this place was torn down and a residential area was built over it, I could see it causing a lot of havoc in whoever lived in that home or lived in the area. If you understand what I'm saying. So it's like they can either try and control it, live with it, work with it, and if not, then more is going to come in and it's going to be
Well,
worse.
you're introducing people and concepts and and backgrounds into this equation that have never had to interact with one another, and that can be dangerous
Hmm.
whenever people don't understand each other's cultures or understand. They don't. There's no way for them to find a middle ground. It sounds like they're finding a middle ground, so to speak, um, at Baraboo, and that's news. I'm not going to say it's good or bad,
Hmm.
but it's news. Uh, um, but you're absolutely correct in saying that if it weren't for finding this middle ground, then it has the potential to be horribly worse, like way
Hmm.
worse. But I'm sure that that later this week you're going to be talking to Jennifer about this same thing. I expect that she's just as excited to talk to you about this stuff. So I really do appreciate you coming on the show before y'all's live stream on Thursday nights. By the way, folks, you should be able to find a link in the description box below to metaphysicalroundtable.com. There you can find the links to all their Facebook pages, their Twitter pages, their YouTube pages. You can find it all there. Rachel also does a show on Monday nights called Answers from Beyond, where she does 3-card spreads, and she just talks to people about what she's seeing there. It's not very rapid. You read a lot slower than most people who do live stream.
Bobby, is that really?
Not read like you're not hooked on phonics read. But
I know. I haven't been able to give anybody a hard time. I've been on my best behavior. So now my family is paying for it, and you by default are paying for it.
So also they have card reviews videos that pop up on YouTube. They're like 10 minutes long. They have the weekend forecast. On Friday nights, or every other Friday night, Jennifer does metaphysical practices, where she does shows people some different things, some different stuff. So it's real fun. You guys go check them out. Please do so. Also, please go by and see us at fringetoast.com. There you can find our merch store and get yourself a Fringe Toast t-shirt to show some support to myself and the rest of the cast. And that's it. You guys take it easy. Oh, wait. There's a thing. There's a thing. It's not George Norrie, and it ain't Coast to Coast, but I'm Bobby, and this is Rachel, and you've been served Fringe Toast. You guys take it easy. Peace.